Welcome to Trade Day channel, February 4, 2025, the most complete and comprehensive fundamental, on-chain and technical analysis Bitcoin. Let's start with analyzing the news of the past 2 weeks for Bitcoin. The news that has been published over the past 2 weeks about Bitcoin. If I were to tell you the news regarding the intra-American continent or just from the United States has been entirely positive. This news is similar to the news that was coming about Bitcoin and the crypto financial market since the beginning of the US presidency. The discussions that were happening during the election about Bitcoin are currently being implemented, and the news coming from the United States, especially with the election of Mr. Trump, is positive. However, in my opinion, this news has become somewhat repetitive. The positive news from the United States for crypto and Bitcoin has almost been pre-priced, and now it doesn't have much of an impact on the crypto market or Bitcoin. It might have a small effect in the short term, but no clear and significant effects are observed on the price of Bitcoin in the medium and long term. However, there have been 2 or 3 important news stories realized in the past week, which in my opinion will have a greater impact on the crypto market, especially Bitcoin. These news stories are more impactful right now and will have even greater effects in the near future. Now let's review these 3 news items together and provide some fundamental analysis. The president of the European Central Bank has said that Bitcoin will never be part of the reserves of the European Central Banks. The reason being that central banks need to hold safe rivers that are not subject to money laundering or illegal activities. These statements were made around 6 or 7 days ago. After these statements, Mr. Sisi, the founder of Binance, said that European Union needs Bitcoin. This could mark the beginning of new challenges for Bitcoin in Europe. On the other hand, yesterday Coinbase received official approval to enter the UK market. This news could signal the beginning of wider acceptance of cryptocurrencies globally. As you know, this could lead to further growth for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. As the more trust there is in this market, the more people will be inclined to engage in cryptocurrency trading. But in my opinion, given that since the US election, positive news for crypto from the intra-American continent has been generally realized. My current fundamental analysis based on these 3 news items is that perhaps the next key to unlocking Bitcoin's growth lies in the hands of the European central banks. Alternatively, this could be the start of a downward cycle for Bitcoin and new issues for crypto, which is entirely natural and could happen. We'll talk more about this in the following video. The main reason for this analysis is related to the European Central Banks. However, if positive news from these banks about Bitcoin is published, we might expect the next growth phase for Bitcoin. Now let's start with the first technical analysis. In the chart we currently have, we see that the black lines have started from around $30,000. Bitcoin's price has fluctuated between $30,000 and $110,000. The green line you see represents the level of liquidated long positions on Bitcoin. An important point in this analysis is that the liquidation volume of Bitcoin long positions, due to the recent drop to $95,000, has reached its highest level since September 2023. This has caused the market to experience a significant shock, and the direction of Bitcoin, whether upwards or downwards, may not be clear. Of course, my analysis based on this data is that if Bitcoin continues, since long positions have been constantly getting liquidated since about October 2024. The liquidity volume increases day by day. This is somewhat concerning. Exactly after liquidation volume increases, the market usually enters a range, and when it exits this range, growth happens. This level of liquidations has now reached almost $118 million. This has caused the market to experience a shock, and for now we might expect Bitcoin to enter a ranging phase. Well, that's the first technical analysis. Now let's move on to the second technical analysis. In this chart, you are seeing the age of UTXO in terms of dollars, meaning the dollar value of the age of UTXO. And this analysis gives us a bit of bad signs and a hint of some bad events happening right now. Pay attention when the dollar value of UTXO age reached its highest point in 2017 and Bitcoin hit a new ATH near $20,000. We then saw a downward trend in Bitcoin for the next 2 years, all the way until January 2019, and Bitcoin managed to do deep corrections. Again, after 4 years, from 2017 to 2021, the dollar value of UTXO8 reached its highest point, which is when Bitcoin hit its ATH at $60,000. Right after that peak, Bitcoin went through a downward trend, slowly correcting until January 2023, when it fell below $20,000. From $50,000 to $60,000 in the past 2 years, from January 2023 to January 2025, Bitcoin has now reached a new ATH, which is above $100,000. This cycle is repeating for the third time. The dollar value of UTXOH has hit a new ATH again. And based on this chart, we can expect that a new downward cycle for Bitcoin should gradually start in 2025. This is a data from on-chain, and the signal this chart is giving us is quite concerning, especially for Bitcoin investors. Exactly notice it's happening every 4 years. 2017 ATH, followed by a downward phase for 2 years. Then again in 2021, after 4 years, a new growth, a new ATH, then from 2021 to 2023 a downward cycle. Then 2 years of growth, and we can expect the downward cycle of Bitcoin to start from this chart. In this chart, we are also seeing the UTXOH in percentage. If we focus on this chart, we can see that the UTXOH has hit an ATH 5 times in percentage. Right after hitting these ATHs, notice the areas around them. Bitcoin in 2018 or more precisely in 2017 reached nearly $20,000 and then entered a downward trend. Again in 2021, after they calculated the percentage of UTXOH and observed it on the chart, we had a downward trend. Exactly in 2013 to 2014, especially in 2014, the second time that UTXOH hit ATH, we entered a downward cycle. Again, we can expect that this signal means that the UTXOH could increase further. But we are approaching the point where we are likely to hit the 6th ATH in this chart. And this is third on-chain analysis. Let's move on to the next analysis, which is very interesting. The orange area you are seeing on the chart actually represents the Bitcoin vols, and the percentage is being shown to you as well. Up until 2020 or 2019, 100% of the vols were the old ones that were on Bitcoin. From 2019 or more precisely from January 2020, pay close attention to this area. A new volume of vols appeared in the blue area. It shows us the new vols coming in. The new volumes of well-entered Bitcoin, and the percentage reached up to 20% in January 21. With the downward cycle, will shift to other assets, and by July 2024, their volume decreased to 17%. Interestingly, from July 2024 to January 2025, in just a few months, their volume increased by 43%, and the volume of new vols entering Bitcoin has now reached 60%. This means that the old vols are either stepping aside or have sold off, and their place has been taken by new vols. This is quite a concerning issue. Look at the vols, they make long-term investments, but the fact that this amount of vol volume has entered Bitcoin right now, increasing so rapidly in just a few months. These are individuals who come in with large amount of money, buying Bitcoin or any other asset when they know it's growing. They may enter at the final stage of growth. What I think about the 43% new vols that have recently come to Bitcoin, buying Bitcoin, is that their strategy has been to buy in these last few months, as they were certain Bitcoin was going to grow to the US elections, and they are now driving the price up. This is a bit of a scary possibility because votes don't stay on a project, token, or asset for a long time. They come in when they know it's growing and they exit quickly. It's not like they stay on Bitcoin or any other asset for a long time. This is a concerning analysis for Bitcoin. But this is just an analysis, it could be wrong. It's better for you to research more yourself. I'm giving my on-chain analysis. The last point I can make for you in this on-chain analysis is that we are looking at Bitcoin's price with a black line. The purple line shows the small investors in Bitcoin, and their volume has been steadily decreasing since October 28 until now, with Bitcoin's price rising from $18,000 to $100,000 and even reaching $105,000. The volume of small investors shares is getting smaller every day. On the other hand, with Bitcoin's price increases. As you can see, the large investments coming into Bitcoin are increasing daily. Even people who are investing at Bitcoin's peak or during its growth are large investors who have made substantial investments in the past. Let me give you an example. Suppose someone has collected 1 million Bitcoin in the past from $20,000 to $40,000 buying 1 million Bitcoin. Now they are making heavy purchases again, like 100,000 or 20,000 Bitcoin, which is a lot. But it helps the 1 million Bitcoin they bought before to grow, and that growth benefits their entire portfolio and leads to even more growth. The last on-chain analysis I want to be, and my opinion, the most important on-chain analysis that should keep an eye on. Is this? The last on-chain analysis I want to be. The last on-chain analysis I want to do. The last on-chain analysis I want to do. And the last on-chain analysis I want to do. And my opinion, the most important on-chain analysis that you should keep an eye on. Is this, in the future, any token, altcoin, or coin that has a realized price, in my opinion, should be closely monitored. In economies, all assets, after growth or decline, can return to their true or intrinsic value. If something is worth $10 and its price reaches $30, that $30 could go back down to $10 and return to its true value. If we think in the upside direction, the same happens. If a stock is worth $20 and the price drops to $10 or $5 and its true value is $10 or even $20, it can go back up to its original price. That's why I say that the most important on-chain analysis we are doing right now is showing us something crucial. From previous analyses, we can tell we might be close to the end of Bitcoin upward cycle and the start of a downward cycle. This could be a warning signal for Bitcoin. This signal might tell us that Bitcoin's decline could begin. But the realized price is showing us that Bitcoin's true value right now is $42,800 and it's telling us that Bitcoin, which has been at $102,000 or $105,000, might still hint another ATH. It could also range. Both possibilities are equally likely. There is no higher chance of an ATH than the chance of a range or downward cycle. Bitcoin's realized price is $42,800 and I can say this realized price has been around $30,000 and $20,000 for the past year, which shows us that if Bitcoin enters its downward cycle, it might, just might, fall to $42,800. The likelihood is quite high, and it might happen because that's where the realized price is. But based on the previous cycle I've seen in Bitcoin, notice that, for example, in 2017, Bitcoin's realized price was around $213 in 2013, and Bitcoin's price reached $1,000, making its ATH for 2013. Notice that Bitcoin's price didn't only reach the realized price there, but if you pay attention, the yellow realized price line, those colored lines, whether green, yellow, red, or blue, represent Bitcoin's price. Bitcoin's price fell below the realized price again. Again, if you pay attention, in 2017, when Bitcoin reached $16,000 or nearly $20,000 or even $18,000, its realized price was around $4,000. But after the decline, Bitcoin's price even reached $3,700, falling below the realized price, which had risen to $4,500. Again, in 2021, when Bitcoin reached $60,000, its realized price was around $20,000 or $19,000. But Bitcoin's price still fell to $60,000. So again, now that Bitcoin's realized price is $42,800, we can expect Bitcoin to drop. This is a natural expansion. $20,000 isn't out of the question, so it seems low. However, given that Bitcoin's realized price has been around $20,000 for a long time, I believe $20,000 is a crucial level. Notice that Bitcoin's realized price has been around $5,000 to $6,000 for a long time. When Bitcoin's price fell to $3,000, it experienced growth and reached $11,000, but then fell back to $5,000. Why? Because these $5,000 levels was significant from 2018 to 2020 or even to December 2020. You can see that $5,000 was an important level and Bitcoin hit it twice. Now the $20,000 level has been a crucial realized price level for Bitcoin. $20,000 or even $30,000 seems more likely to me right now. If Bitcoin is going to enter a bearish cycle, it can reach $42,000. There is no doubt about that because it's real value. But of course, a lower prediction can also be made. One important point I took from these on-chain analyses, and which could be a positive point for the crypto financial market, aside from Bitcoin, is that if Bitcoin enters a bearish trend and the walls holding Bitcoin exit and sell their Bitcoin, a large amount, the volume of Bitcoin could be removed from the market. If it enters altcoins, we could expect an excellent alt season. This is a positive signal we can get from this on-chain analysis. This could happen if the wall sells their Bitcoin and move that volume and money into altcoins. If they exit the crypto financial market, then we cannot expect an alt season. However, I see that possibility that after Bitcoin hits its ATH or range, or if it starts entering a bearish cycle, the likelihood is higher that it will move out of Bitcoin, enter altcoins, and only then can we experience a true alt season. Based on our first on-chain analysis, I also want to share another potential scenario with you, which I think also possible. We can expect an ATH because if a new ATH is registered for Bitcoin and Bitcoin makes a good quick rise, a large volume in dollars could trigger the liquidation of short positions. If Bitcoin is about to enter a bearish trend before this cycle starts, it might be necessary for those with short positions to have their positions liquidated. With Bitcoin hitting its ATH and with its next rise, we can expect short positions to be cleared and then the bearish cycle can begin. If Bitcoin manages to grow again, it could signal that the bearish cycle for Bitcoin is likely starting. The important point is that you watch the technical analysis in that video, pause it, take the channel and draw it on your chart. If you want to add to the analysis, maybe you will come up with a better observation, or perhaps that led you to notice a new aspect and a new analysis. I would be happy if you share your analysis and opinions in the comments. However, if I were to give you a quick, straightforward, and certain analysis using the previous Bitcoin peak in 2017 around $20,000 and the April 2021 ATH of Bitcoin at $65,000 and December 2021 at $69,000 and using the $3,000 low, I've drawn an ascending channel on the logarithmic scale for you. In this ascending channel, we see the $42,000 price point, which is exactly aligned with Bitcoin's real price at $42,000. It shows that $41,000 and $42,000 are significant numbers for Bitcoin. Based on this ascending channel, we can expect Bitcoin's price in the next bearish cycle, which might last up to 2 years. Also, my personal opinion is that if Bitcoin is going to enter a bearish cycle, it won't take 2 years. It might be shorter or longer, but I think it's more likely that the cycle will take less time. $42,000 and $41,000 are important numbers based on this channel. Bitcoin can't go below $22,500. My opinion is that the next lowest point for Bitcoin could be between $30,000 and $42,000. There is a chance it could go as low as $25,000 but above $22,500. $76,000 is the midline of the Bitcoin channel based on these highs and lows. The next peak, as you will probably heard, could be $135,000, $130,000, or $139,000, which could be the next ATH for Bitcoin. This analysis was done around 7 months ago. I mentioned this before in my previous video, and I'm saying it again now. This analysis done 6 or 7 months ago by the highly reputable company Brainstein, which publicly announced that Bitcoin could reach $225,000. Based on the technical analysis I did for you on Bitcoin, Bitcoin could reach $225,000, $260,000, or even $290,000, or maybe $3,000. It depends on when reach this peak, and the peak of this channel can go even higher as time progresses.